In the heart of France, where the Seine River weaves through the vibrant streets of Paris, a 7-year-old Belgian Malinois named Diesel lived a life of purpose. Her sleek, tan and black coat glistened under the sun as she moved with the grace and precision of a seasoned warrior. Diesel was no ordinary dog. She was a member of RAID, France's elite research, assistance, intervention and deterrence unit, a special anti-terrorist force tasked with protecting the nation from its gravest threats. For 5 years, she had served alongside her handler, a quiet man whose name remained cloaked in anonymity for security reasons, forging a bond built on trust, loyalty, and unspoken understanding. Diesel's days began before dawn at the RAID training facility on the outskirts of Paris. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of dew-soaked grass as she ran through obstacle courses, her paws barely touching the ground. Her training was rigorous, sniffing out explosives, navigating simulated urban environments, and learning to engage threats with a controlled ferocity. Her role was to open the way, using her keen senses to detect danger and, if necessary, to confront it head-on. She was trained to bite when the situation demanded it, or to stand firm and bark to signal a hidden threat. Her handler often said, "I have absolute confidence in her, and she in me." Their partnership was a dance of instinct and discipline, each knowing exactly how the other would move in the chaos of a mission. Diesel had earned her stripes over the years, her service record adorned with commendations for her bravery. She was due to retire in the spring of 2016, a well-earned rest after a distinguished career. Her handler looked forward to quieter days, perhaps imagining Diesel lounging in a sunny yard, chasing a ball instead of danger. But fate had other plans. On November 13, 2015, Paris was shattered by a series of coordinated terrorist attacks. Gunmen and suicide bombers struck cafes, a concert hall and a stadium, killing 130 people and leaving hundreds injured. The city, known for its light and love, was cloaked in grief and fear. The mastermind, Abdelhamid Aboud, was still at large, and intelligence suggested he was planning another attack. RAID was mobilized, and Diesel, as always, was ready to answer the call. 5 days later, on November 18th, before the first light of dawn, RAID operatives descended on a nondescript apartment building in the Saint-Denis suburb, north of Paris. The target was a flat on Rue du Corbelin, where Aboud and several accomplices were believed to be hiding. The operation began at 4:25 a.m., the silence of the early morning shattered by the sound of boots on pavement and the low hum of tactical gear. Residents were told to stay indoors as roads were sealed off. The air was thick with tension. Intelligence had warned that the terrorists were heavily armed and possibly rigged with explosives. The raid erupted into chaos almost immediately. As RAID operatives stormed the building, they were met with a hail of gunfire and the deafening blast of grenades. A woman inside detonated a suicide vest, the explosion rocking the structure and sending debris flying. For a moment, the gunfire ceased, leaving an eerie calm that felt almost unnatural. The operatives, wary of booby traps or hidden attackers, knew they needed to clear the apartment before advancing further. This was Diesel's moment. Her handler knelt beside her, his hand resting on her flank. "Allez, Diesel," he whispered, giving her the command to move. Her ears pricked, and her eyes locked onto the doorway. She bounded forward, her movements swift and deliberate, disappearing into the shadowed interior of the flat. The first room was clear, her nose twitching as she scanned for the faintest trace of explosives or human presence. She moved to the second room, her body low and alert. Suddenly, she dashed forward, her posture signaling that she had found something or someone. Her handler, positioned outside, lost sight of her. "Diesel," he called, but before he could react, the silence was shattered by a renewed burst of gunfire. The sound was relentless, a storm of bullets tearing through the air. Diesel had likely confronted a threat, her instincts driving her to engage. But the enemy was prepared, and the gunfire was merciless. When the shooting stopped, an ominous quiet settled over the scene. Diesel did not return. Inside the apartment, the raid team found the bodies of 3 terrorists, including Aboud, amid the rubble. 5 others were arrested, their plans for further attacks thwarted. But the victory came at a cost. Diesel, the brave Malinois who had led the way, lay still, her body riddled with gunshot wounds. She had been killed instantly, her sacrifice ensuring that her human colleagues could advance safely. Her handler, devastated, later said, "It was like losing one of our own." News of Diesel's death spread quickly, igniting a wave of grief that transcended borders. The French National Police announced her passing on Twitter. Diesel Malinois de 7 ans, chien d'assaut du #raid. Été tué par les terroristes dans l'opération Encours #Saint-Denis. The post, accompanied by a photo of a raid dog, was shared thousands of times. Social media erupted with tributes, the hashtag #JSuiChien, a nod to the earlier #JSuiCharlie, trending worldwide. People posted photos of their own pets, shared stories of canine loyalty, and mourned the loss of a hero who had given her life to protect others. "Not all heroes are human," one user wrote. "Diesel died to defend our colors," said another. The outpouring of support was overwhelming. In France, Diesel became a symbol of courage and sacrifice, her story resonating with a nation still reeling from the attacks. Russia, in a gesture of solidarity, gifted France a German Shepherd puppy named Debrinya, named after a knight from Russian folklore who embodied strength and valor. Debrinya was presented to the French ambassador in Moscow, a young life to carry on Diesel's legacy. "They are waiting for this puppy in Paris," the ambassador said, his voice heavy with gratitude. Diesel's heroism did not go unrecognized. In 2016, she was posthumously awarded the PDSA Dickin Medal, the animal equivalent of the Victoria Cross, by the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. The medal, introduced in 1943, had been given to only a select few: 30 dogs, 32 pigeons, 3 horses, and 1 cat, each recognized for conspicuous gallantry. PDSA Director General Jan McLaughlin said, "Diesel was instrumental in helping the French police locate and deal with the perpetrators. His gallant actions helped to protect human life in the face of imminent danger." The formal presentation was a moment of solemn pride, a tribute to a dog who had given everything. Yet controversy lingered. Some reports initially claimed Diesel had been killed by a female suicide bomber, a jihadi bride, who fired an AK-47 before detonating her vest. Later investigations clarified that no such bomber was present. Diesel had been shot by terrorists, possibly caught in a hail of bullets from both sides. A 2016 report revealed that raid operatives had fired up to 5,000 rounds during the raid, while the terrorists returned only 11. Tragically, Diesel may have been caught in friendly fire, her death a result of the chaotic intensity of the operation. The Paris prosecutor declined to hold a formal inquest, leaving questions unanswered. For her handler, the truth was secondary to the loss. "She was my partner," he said. "We trusted each other completely." In the years that followed, Diesel's story became a cornerstone of Raid's legacy. Her name was spoken with reverence in training halls, a reminder of the bond between handler and dog, and the sacrifices made in the line of duty. Children in Paris schools learned about her bravery, and her image appeared in memorials alongside human heroes of the attacks. Dobrynya, the puppy from Russia, grew into a fine police dog, serving with the same courage Diesel had shown. On quiet evenings, Diesel's handler would walk alone, the absence of her steady presence a weight he carried silently. He kept her collar, worn and scratched from years of service, on a shelf in his home. Sometimes he would touch it, remembering the way she looked at him before a mission, eyes bright, ready to lead the way. Diesel had been more than a dog. She was a hero, a guardian, a friend. And in the heart of Paris, her courage lived on, a beacon of light in the darkest of times.